Oh, wait, no longer. Greatness has arrived. Welcome to the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I am your host, Joseph, aka Mr. Badbit, and it's usually here where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest, in all things PlayStation. Of course, you can listen to this show wherever you find your podcasts and on YouTube at the Trophy Room Show. And if you like what you hear, please consider us dropping a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or toss us a buck our way over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. So with all that said, and with all that out of the way, the greatest co-host who ever is, whoever will be, Mr. Kyle Stevenson, is not here this episode, and it's all literally my fault. We recorded the show earlier, and my mic sounded awful, and it was just unusable. And unfortunately, Kyle couldn't make it to re-record this episode, but I found one of my best friends on the internet to come talk PlayStation with me. Mr. Sean Capri, how are you, sir?
I don't know. Other than the theme and the overall topic of PlayStation, I have no idea what's on deck for today. I'm so excited. It's like how I do my own podcast, man. I never know what the hell we're going to be talking about. I just show up and start recording.
I know, and that's the beauty between you and I, Sean, is that we have the chemistry. We could literally, we don't even need
we don't need
even
notes.
A script. No, none of it. We just need each other, and we're just having a podcast together.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
Great. I almost called you the man on the moose. Because I listen to the Xbox Drive so much, and that is always the thing that sticks out to me. When I think Xbox Drive, I think the man on the moose.
The man on the moose. You better believe they put a man on the moose. A man on the moose.
So with that, Sean Capri, host of the Xbox Drive, thank you for bailing us out today.
No problem.
You've been a guest. I think you've been like the number one guest on
number
the show.
one guest, definitely. Yep.
So most people don't need an explanation of who you are, but for those who do, who are you? Where can they find you before we start this beautiful show? My
name is Sean Capri, Sean like Connor. You can put like the pants. You can find me on Twitter, just Sean Capri. And yeah, man, on Thursdays are a great day. You know, Thursdays, the Trophy Room drops usually. The Xbox Drive drops as well. That's the show that I do. I record it while driving in a car. I get a little drive-through at McDonald's just to prove it. And yeah, man, I think our shows kind of coexist nicely on Thursdays. You get a little Xbox taste, you get a little PlayStation taste, and it's super fun, man.
Yeah, and today we're getting a little taste of both because a lot of these topics kind of coalesce within both of our ecosystems. And there's a surprise topic that actually Kyle brought up to us that is going to be really fun to talk to you about because you've been able to go to E3 and not me. So with that, before we start the show, it's time for a little thing called the Patreon pitch. Of course, if we ever got you through a long car ride, a tough day at work, whatever the case may be, it really does mean a lot if you could toss a buck our way over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. And these are the amazing people that make this show happen each and every week, starting with our platinum producers, Todd Burowitz, our gold producers, Chaotic Monkey, Gavin Gottfried, Griffin West, Jose Jimenez, Jedi Master Ren, and Metal Kirby. I want to thank our Silver Plus members, Hide Indoors, Marcus O'Neill, it's just Ray, JB the Purple Monkey, Jadus Von Metal, Tim Ulf, and Justin Rodriguez. Thank you all so much for supporting us the way you do. And with that, Sean, are you ready to square up the news?
I'm a little, can I just say, I'm a little beside myself right now. I'm on the Trophy Room. Like, so many people would kill for this opportunity, man. You get a little giggle from me. Like, when I'm listening to the show, I was waiting for the fun metal. I was waiting for it, dude. So yes, I am ready to square up the news, but I'm having a little moment here.
Good. Well, I'm going to have a little dyslexia moment reading the news because Kyle's usually so great at it and me, not so much. But you know what? I'm going
Here we go. I got your back.
All right. Okay. 3rd grade English teacher. I'm about to show you who's boss. Cyberpunk 2077's PlayStation return is completely up to Sony, says CD Projekt Red. This comes from Rebecca Valentine over at IGN, and she writes the following. It's been over 100 days since Cyberpunk 2077 was removed from the PlayStation Store, and CD Projekt Red says it's up to Sony as to when the game finally returns. In an investor Q&A call today, the game's removal was brought up by a shareholder, with CD Projekt Red saying that the studio studio was still patching the game in earnest, but ultimately, the decision to return to the storefront is in Sony's hands. SVP of Business Development Mitchell Novoskoski, and I'm sorry I butchered that name, I know I did, specifically referenced the recent 1.2 patch, saying each update brings the game closer to re-release on the PlayStation store, but did not give a specific timeline. The quote says, however, the final decision, you have to understand, belongs to Sony, he said. We do believe we are closer, but of course, the final call is theirs, so let's wait and see. CD Projekt Red had a number of other Cyberpunk-related announcements today as part of a strategy update presentation today, including plans to develop 2 AAA games revolving around the Witcher and Cyberpunk franchises simultaneously, beginning in 2022, and promises of better marketing strategies, an update or delay or cancel even of the Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer.
Wow.
What a story this has been, Sean.
Wow. Keeps going.
Have you even like remembered or maybe even forgotten that this game has been delayed on PlayStation?
I actually forgot. Good
Yeah.
point. I actually forgot that this was not available. I mean, I mostly removed the game from my my thought, to be honest with you. It's not really anything. I don't want to like slam unnecessarily on the game, and there's plenty of shade that has been thrown and probably will continue to be thrown to Cyberpunk, but I totally forgot you couldn't even buy this game. And the way that the patch notes kind of came out, and for anybody who wants to see what like 750,000 words looks like, it looks like patch notes for patch 1.2. So, but as an Xbox fan coming into the PlayStation chatterbox, good for PlayStation for this, dude. Yeah. Honestly, and I was listening to the Xbox Empire, and they were talking about it today, and like just kind of they're going through and going like, this is maybe now bringing the game to be a playable state. Yeah. What a horrendous launch this was. And I don't know that I've seen anything quite like that. And I don't know that I've ever seen anything quite like it being deplatformed. And I'm like, kind of good for them. Kind of good for PlayStation.
Now, when you say that, when it was originally delisted, a lot of I saw some Xbox folks out there going, I like that Xbox gives me the choice if I want to make a mistake with my money or not. So
I'm not saying like one or the other is doing the right. Like, the correct thing, but it's a very bold move for PlayStation to take it off the store. But it's like it's such a weird. It's very loaded, right? Like it was a very bold move for PlayStation because CD Projekt was very bold in their marketing and how they talked about what this game was. And I mean, they should have delayed it a year. This is not a new thing that's being said, but it's like, it's becoming more and more clear with every week and every month that passes by. We're now into April as we record this. It's like the game is now getting 1.2, which gets it to a state that still isn't really the game we thought we were going to get back in November or October. Yeah, dude. So it's an absolute disaster.
And now where they're even saying remember the multiplayer was going to be its own separate game? Well, who knows?
Yeah, dude.
If that's even coming out. Even their whole strategy, marketing strategy was maybe we talk about the game when it's closer to launch, and maybe we don't do whatever we did with Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
And I think it really was... When you look at it, it was just a monster of hype that was just uncontrollable, unsustainable, and unrealistic on all levels. And they still, the bosses knew what they had, and maybe was just illusioned of what they didn't have, and just went with it anyway, thinking, oh, we'll patch it like The Witcher 3 was, and that just never came to fruition. It's just so fascinating, because I remember thinking about playing the game again. I was like, maybe I give it another chance, and it going, oh right, it's not on the PlayStation Store. Right. That said, Nagachaka writes in. He writes, CD Projekt Red thinks they're one step closer of getting Cyberpunk 2077 back on the PlayStation Store with the latest patch. Do you think Sony will ever let Cyberpunk 2077 back into their digital store? If so, when? If not, how come? Is Sony really focused on the game's quality? Or is this a mean of teaching CD Projekt Red a lesson for how they handled the refunds? Oh, you think Sony's being vindictive?
Yes. Oh, definitely. That has to be part of it, especially because they did the same thing across the board for PC. Well, PC had a weird situation as well, but certainly for Xbox and for PlayStation. But Xbox was already set up for this. This when they came out and said, like, reach out to whoever for refunds, like, Xbox is like, okay, we already have that system in place. We have the protocols and everything. And Sony's like, no, we don't, and no, you can't. Like, I do think that kind of puts them on the back burner. There's not a priority for it, and now that it's outside of the launch window, you got to wonder if Sony's even incentivized to put it back on the storefront, because, like, are they going to make anything on this? Like, there's a quality control there, but I mean, there's a lot of the counter argument to that is that there's a lot of busted ass games that make it onto the PlayStation Store, and that's kind of the point I was trying to make before, is that the blunder on CD Projekt's side matches the reaction from PlayStation. The blunder was so massive; it was bigger than probably anything that we've seen, which prompted a response that kind of unlike anything we've ever seen from PlayStation side. So I actually forgot about that too, the whole refunds thing. Like, it's crazy because I think I saw somebody tweet just a couple of weeks ago. It's like, remember when we thought this was like the no-brainer game of the year? It was going to be game of the year. We weren't even thinking about that. And I've done a lot of reflection on this over the months and over the weeks of how did it get to that point? Because it was very similar, I would say, with No Man's Sky. I don't know if this is a very popular opinion, but a lot of people were ready to, hang Sean Murray by the toenails because of all the things that he promised. And my recollection of No Man's Sky before that came out was, they're not telling us anything. We don't know what this game is. We don't understand it. Yeah. And I feel like it's actually kind of similar with this one. Was we just got Keanu Reeves, Cyberpunk, and it's like we knew the theme of the game, but we hadn't really seen anything of it. And this just kind of happens every once in a while. Like, a game becomes part of the zeitgeist, and it's like, you're saying Cyberpunk, the name is kind of cool, and I don't know why else. Like, I guess Witcher had something to do with us getting hyped for this game, but there wasn't really anything in my recollection, nothing too specific. A dude got a chair. Those chairs look pretty dope. And Keanu. Why were we so hyped about this game? I just think that we should all be doing a lot of reflection on this, because history will repeat itself, my friend.
Absolutely. And I think you're 110% right. Is like, we often as gamers get way too ahead of ourselves and letting the hype and that one trailer just captivate us so much, right? And those lead to the theory videos, the what ifs, for however many long it takes for that game or that even thing, pop culture, to come out. And it never, I feel like, never lives up to expectation, because we're always expecting something wildly different. And we definitely did. And this leads into Jedi Master Ren's question, piggying back off of Nagachaka. Do you think Cyberpunk will ever be redeemed at this point? Or has CD Projekt Red tarnished and soiled the name of the franchise with its rollout? Also, can we trust them to work on two projects at once, as they claim they're doing so in 2022? Is there a redemption story for CD?
I definitely think so. Yeah, I definitely think there's a redemption story here. It's not guaranteed, but I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility either. But they have to earn it. Like, I mean, gamers have a short memory in most cases. Like, the fact that I forgot that this was not on the PlayStation Store is an element. And I'm also a special case. My brain is Swiss cheese at the best of times.
Oh, same here, dude. Especially today.
But we know the pedigree. Like, there is the pedigree of the studio, and it's not like BioWare where everybody's leaving. It's still a lot of the same brain trust that's over there at CD Projekt. So I do think that there is a redemption story here, but we'll monitor this situation very closely. We really will. And I think that there's all these patches, the hot fixes and the big patches that are happening. And I'm holding off. I'm not even paying any attention to whatever the next patch is. It's not until they get the next gen patches or the next gen release, whatever you want to call it, to when I really look at this game as, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm actually going to play it, and I will kind of evaluate at that point. I'm a little jealous of the people who will be able to, like, play it along the way and see it evolve. I ain't got that kind of time, man.
Same here. Especially in a game like that. Like, when we talk about, like, when it or if this game's coming back, it's definitely coming back this year. Talking to Kyle earlier, he thought, holiday. That's when we're getting on the PlayStation Store.
Yeah.
I think a little sooner. I definitely think next patch rolls around, we're going to see that roll out. But I personally am going to wait till the next gen patch. So maybe you do sit on it and kind of say, you know what, when the PS5 patches out, we'll roll it out. That's when this thing's ready. And honestly, like, can there be a redemption? Absolutely. I don't think Cyberpunk is in a Anthem situation like BioWare is in, where they're like, running out of ideas, it seems, and personnel. But like, I think that they're in a position where this is a defining moment, right? It's like, this is the reflection point. Where do they go? Is it to mediocrity and it can't be salvaged, or is it to, hey, this was the stumble, this was the learning block that we needed? That's the thing that's really interesting to me. So I think they can do it. Witcher is a fantastic game. I think Cyberpunk, there's definitely something there. But you're right. Like, oftentimes marketing, people unboxing chairs gets ahead of us, and we get too excited.
I mean, I don't. And apparently, Witcher came out in rough shape as well. I wasn't on board with that launch, and I don't know if it was quite this disastrous. And certainly, there wasn't quite as much hype.
It was not. I remember that launch being rough, but it wasn't like, this is unplayable.
Yeah, there's no AI in the. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, just everything's
on the point of like, when will it come back, or when will Sony let it back on? They're in total control here. Whenever it works best for Sony, right? Absolutely. Like, I don't know if there's a moment in their calendar where they go, be good to have a big release here, right? Like, if they look at like what they know is coming out and they go, there's a bit of an opening here, you can come back at this point. It's got to work for Sony, I think, and they hold all the cards.
Yeah, and rightfully so. It's their store, and you're the one that made them look bad.
Yeah.
That said, let's talk about bad luck. Sean, you're an Xbox guy.
Oh.
You're going to take glee in hearing this because you're a real vindictive son of a bitch.
Oh.
Sony confirms PS3 and PS Vita... PlayStation confirms PlayStation 3, PSP, and Vita stores will close in July, and Vita follows in August. Rumors started circulating this week. This comes from Rebecca Smith over at PS Lifestyle. That Sony store would be closed, or closing the PS3, PSP, and PS Vita stores. Sony has now confirmed that both PS3 and PSP stores will be closing on July 2nd, with Vita to follow on August 27th. Here's the features that you'll still be able to access and the things that you'll lose out on. The features that you'll be able to access are being able to re-download your previously purchased content, access to previously purchased video and media content, redeem your games or your PlayStation Plus vouchers, re-download and play claimed games through the PlayStation Plus app. Features you will lose. You will no longer be able to purchase any PS3, PS Vita, PSP content, including games and video content. You will no longer be able to make in-game purchases on those platforms, and you will no longer be able to redeem PSN wallet fund for those platforms as well.
It's no problem. Right?
What are your thoughts on this, man?
A lot of thoughts. This is a discussion that requires a podcast, not a tweet. Mm-hmm. I'm actually I don't know about you, but lately I've just been like kind of abstaining from commenting on Twitter about really any of this stuff. It's just impossible. It's absolutely impossible. A lot of thoughts. Number one, I haven't bought a PS Vita game in quite a long time. I love my Vita very, very much. Might be sending it to a friend for maybe modding at this point, but who knows? Nice. We'll see. Yeah. I have a lot as somebody who is really just trying to get control of and keep things under control, not hoarding too many things. And I don't go to garage sales and go look at this amazing thing and just bring it on over. There comes a time when you just got to cut ties. So there's that part of me. Yeah. However, there are some amazing games, especially on PS3 and Vita. I have a PSP, but I'm not as familiar with that library. But I feel like for some reason that the Vita is the one that holds up maybe the best of the three. When I fire up my Vita, it works. When I fire up my PS3, it doesn't really work all that great. Yeah. And I feel like if Xbox wasn't doing what it's doing, and they've made a number of comments this week as well, in almost in response to this, then if Xbox isn't doing what they're doing, then this doesn't look quite as bad. But Xbox has been pretty clear about what they want to do and how they want to treasure game preservation and put that on a pedestal. Then Sony comes and does this. It's not a good look no matter how you spin it, but how it's going to impact people, I think is interesting. At least it's not as bad as they just killed off Mario. I mean, there's that thing. There's that whole situation.
Nintendo literally killed a guy today.
He's dead. He's got like buried.
Done. Oh my God, what are we gonna do about Peach?
But I mean, I have to think about Kyle. Like, what would Kyle say? Kyle's gonna be a little sad about this. And
here's the thing: in our reaction is Sean is like is kind of what we'll get to Z Child's question in a second. Here is like kind of let the past die, kill it if you have to. A lot of the games that are the mainstream games that we love so very much and we hold so very dear. Those games that usually defined the generation defy the generation. And usually you get all those different ports of whatever game. Like I'm playing Resident Evil 4 right now. Yeah. That's from the GameCube generation. I'm playing it on my PS5. Like a lot of those games I think will live on, but at the same exact time, a lot of those games that aren't your Uncharted's, are going to be left at the wayside. And it sucks, I think, more so for the Vita, because for the PS3, you look at it, right? I mean, it's easy to think of digital games now, but like digital games in the 6th generation was not nearly what it is today in terms of audience. We were mostly buying our games physical. And so like for me, it's just like, well, we were usually buying our games physical anyway, so that doesn't really affect me. Same with PSP. Unless you want to buy the Chappelle Show season 2 on the PSP store, you locked out. But like the Vita is the one where it was the home of the indies for a very long time. And my question for you, it comes from Z Child. Does the closing of the legacy stores change your perception of Jim Ryan? I know it's not 100% his decision, but he's the face running the show. It seems like since he's been running things, he's adopted a let the past die, kill it if you have to approach. We know he stated in the past about how he feels about old titles. And I think he's been great for pushing things forward, but I wonder if he is disregarding legacy in an attempt to push things further. At least it seems that way when comparing him to past PlayStation leads. Do you think it is like let the past die, who gives a shit about Apexcape?
So, what I started with is I'm not terribly affected by this and all of that stuff, but and maybe what lightens the load a little bit more is that those stores are locked to those devices. It's not like they're those that you could access that store or those games and then play it on a newer device, like bring things forward, which is where things are going, I think, in Xbox land and certainly on PC. Like, for this to really, really hurt, it's like if you were still playing your Vita and then they closed it, right? So, I don't know if it changes my perception. I feel like this locks in and confirms my perception of Jim Ryan. Like, this is on brand for him. I don't know that it, but with all this said, everything I've said so far, I don't think that this is really great for games, though. You know, and I also feel bad for anybody developing games for Vita right now. Like, PSP and PS3 are long gone, but people are still developing games for Vita.
Kyle.
Hi.
Sean. Hi. That's happened today. So, Vita storefront is closing, but Sony has given developers the dev kits to the Vita. I think actually this is Metal Kirby's question. Actually, some developers are crunching to finish their games while others canceled their games outright. I don't play my Vita that often. I don't get why Sony is more or less killing it and my PSVR is collecting more dust, and yet Sony is making new tech and games for the Vita. VR. As a Vita fan, I'm sad and my wallet cries for physical games that will surely skyrocket in price. That's a really, really great touchstone there, because it's like, dude, you just sold developers a developer kit for the Vita a month ago, and now you're announcing it's dead. Is it a sell? Do they sell the dev kits? Is that I don't know what the arrangement is. Like, are they provided, or do developers buy these dev kits? Like, usually, like, they buy them, or like there's a shake.
That's even worse.
Exactly. That's where I'm actually pissed. Like, on the other hand, it's like, well, you are making games for the Vita. Like, where was what level was that game at? You know what I mean? I know that sounds like a really dick thing to say, but like the Vita is, I think, around 6-7 years old, if memory serves.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to be, in my mind. It's not like, if one of these things is not like the other. The Vita is different from PS3 and PSP in that, like, Vita's the last standing mobile, the handheld thing. Like PSP is so far removed. If you're gonna kill the stores, like that one makes sense to me. PS3 makes sense. You're on the 5 now, right? Like, but the Vita literally still has games being made for it. Like that's the one that just doesn't quite add up to me, and it seems that's where it's like seems aggressive, right? Where like, don't point the gun at it. Like he's fine. He's not gonna hurt anybody. He's fine. He's like he's got to die. Like he's just don't. Why are you going out of your way to murder this thing? It's too bad.
Yeah. Now, I do agree to a certain extent. Because I think selling the devs these dev kits and not giving them a warning going, hey, we're going to close this down in August is a shit move and Sony should be ashamed.
Yeah.
But at the same exact time, I'm not too terribly concerned for the Vita because, I think as portables go, Sony gave up on that thing a year after its release.
Yeah.
And didn't really try that hard to really revive it. And as for PSVR, Sony still sees a future in that. They see a really high attach rate with that headset as well. And they see that maybe there is a market here that someone hasn't tapped in. Sirens are on our end, by the way. Someone's being arrested. So, someone's in trouble. So, that's what I'm kind of thinking here is I think PlayStation, Sony as a whole sees a future in VR. Mm-hmm. They don't see a future in a dedicated handheld. Now that we have the Azure servers, we're having xCloud, we're having these streaming services beamed on our phones. I think Sony sees that's really the future of handheld, whereas PSVR or VR in general doesn't have a defined point yet. And that's why they're going there. Yeah.
It's just an overall take on the situation where, and I'm sure Kyle has mentioned this on either last week's show or the week before, like you could play PlayStation 1 games on your Vita, right? Yeah. And as much as we want to say like old games, who cares? And you got to cut the past off, you got to move on, blah, blah, blah. Man, there's something real special. I remember the feeling of going onto the Vita store and buying some of those old games. And like, I can't believe I've got this. And just for that to be removed and in the world of PlayStation where you guys have the history, like this is backwards from how it should be.
Yeah.
Xbox, people often ask me like, what original Xbox games you want brought back to backwards compatibility? I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, it's like Dead to Rights maybe. And like, yeah, sure. Like Ryan Turford will rattle off like, I don't know, some Buffy the Vampire game or something. Yeah. You know, like the history, it's just not, it's not comparable. As much as I love the platform I play on, it's
Sean,
not comparable.
Do you hear that siren? Do you hear that siren? Maybe there's a fire. Oh my god!
Like close
that
to you?
Siren went off. Yeah, that siren went off. It was there for.
Are you gonna be okay?
Oh, now it's going. Listen, if the building's on fire, we'll find out eventually. Someone's going to store it.
This show's just not meant to come out, dude.
I don't think so.
This episode is cursed.
That said, no, the siren's gone. Don't worry. The fire people, they dealt with it.
The fire people.
Jesus Christ. Awesome Dave, the last question on this subject, writes in with a swoop. That's the tube. He's putting his question in the
the pneumatic tube. Yes.
Yeah, Sony Pony Express, where you send all your questions in. You can send them in via PS Trophy Room on Twitter or send your questions in via our Discord server. Anyway, with the legacy stores closed down, what games from each of these affected systems would you like to see ported or remastered on the PlayStation 4/PlayStation 5? Now, you're going to shit all over this, I think. He says, Kyle, so pretend you're Kyle for a sec. Before you answer, I too would like to see Resistance series come back from another, come back, but other than the greatest FPS series ever, what else would you like to see from the PS3 era? What is a game that you, Mr. Xbox, would like to see from the PS3 era?
PS3 era?
Yeah, from the
Jason,
remastered on the PlayStation 4 or 5. Have you read?
No, Infamous. I want my Infamous games. I think they're back, Joe.
Yeah, they're back. No, this one zipped. We're fine.
Infamous is the first. Oh, I'm sorry, we're still on that.
There's a lot of smoke surrounding me, but I'll figure it out. Sorry, go for it. Infamous.
Infamous is probably the first one that comes to mind. Yeah, like those first two games. Was that PS3, dude? Like time, like what is even time anymore? Yeah, that was PS3.
Yeah,
because I think
I'm right there with you.
I think I like actually Second Son more than most people, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, I love that game. I don't like they got a lot of hate, but I really enjoyed those games.
I enjoyed it. I remember not loving it like I think I did, but like,
I
really. Yeah, I know I am number one. I love the beanie that the game came
Of
with.
course.
That's the most memorable thing. I would like, though, Infamous to come back, because those are games that I missed from my PlayStation days, and those are games that I know, dude. I am a fake fan.
Fake fan.
Dude, I'm the worst. So those are games that I would like to revisit and kind of see what all the hubbub was about. Because I remember when I had my PlayStation 3, remember, I'm a broke, kid, and I worked at GameStop. So I would just be playing games, from like, borrow, take a game, leave a game type of thing. And I would never be able to finish most games. And Infamous was one of those infamous games that I never got to beat.
Son of a gun. What about, bring back MAG. You got to bring back MAG.
MAG is
Massive
terrible.
Action game.
MAG was terrible.
Pretty bad.
I picked it up and I'm like, immediately, I don't know where I am. What's going on? This is a mistake.
Yeah, no good.
This is honestly a mistake. But yeah, Infamous is definitely number one. And you know what? Just for Kyle, let's give him Resistance.
No. It's not. I mean, maybe with a different controller, I could maybe live with it. I will say, I also platinumed the Resistance game on Vita, by the way.
Oh, really?
When I think it came to PlayStation Plus not too long ago. I mean, maybe a year or two ago, and that gave me the online pass that I needed to play one multiplayer match in order to get the platinum, because I had it used. I didn't have the online pass. I used to sell those separately, and I needed one multiplayer match to get that there platinum, man.
All right, now this is good news for us, Kyle. God damn it,
wow.
Sean. This is where my brain is.
Do I sound tired?
Sean
Did I start the show by saying I'm tired, I'm not feeling great? Is that a hallmark?
Maybe. Listen, PlayStation Plus games for April. Days Gone.
Banging.
Oddworld Soulstorm.
Yeah.
And Zombie Army 4 Dead War is coming out. Those are your games with, not gold, those are your PlayStation Plus games for April.
Yeah.
I bring this up.
Yeah.
Sean.
Hi.
Games with gold guy. It's rough for you guys out
there.
It's pretty rough. What do you got? Marbles? A hoop and a stick
Marble!
game? Every month I feel terrible for the Xbox folks, because they're just like, we got this games with gold service, just get rid of it. We don't even want
We don't want it. We stopped covering it. The Xbox Drive and the Xbox Empire, we don't cover these games anymore, dude.
It's oh my god. And meanwhile, PlayStation Plus, it's looking pretty good for us, man.
I mean,
I'm really enjoying
the bar.
Really
okay, let's just get it under control here, okay?
Okay.
Y'all have spent like the last however many years, months, whatever, going like Days Gone is whatever. Okay? So then when it becomes a free game, you can't go, we got the gay Days Gone game. Like, just chill. Okay? It's better than games with gold. We'll give you with that. But Oddworld, we've all been pooping all over that game every time we see Lauren Lanning come up on whatever PlayStation spotlight they want to put him on. We're like, enough is enough. And then it shows up on the graphic that goes, this is a free game you get next month. Everybody's like, yeah, Oddworld. Like, shut up, dude. Y'all have been pooping all over this game for months. Nobody, every time I hear it pop up, everybody goes, why are they still making these games? And then it shows up for free on this thing. It's like, take that, Xbox. Like, take it easy, all right? Our games are bad, but you can't be talking all about this good stuff about Oddworlds like it's something you've been wanting this entire time, because you haven't.
It's something I've never wanted in my life.
Thank you.
But Sean, real talk, I'll try it now. It's on PlayStation 5. Why not? It's free.
I'm waiting. Trust me, I'm waiting for the moment for people to like play it and go, shit, this game's actually pretty good. Like, I'm waiting for it. I'm sure it's actually like, just because of how much crap this game has taken. I am positive it's actually going to be pretty fun, and I can't wait for it. Yeah, dude.
I hope it is. Again, it's a game that I would have never played. When it comes to Days Gone, though, a lot of people were also giving this shit, because not only is it Days Gone, and it's a solid 7 when I played it. Solid 7. It's the fact that this is also on the PlayStation 5 collection. So it's like, did you really, though?
I didn't realize that.
Game?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Dude, like, as somebody who is, I'm indoctrinated in the Game Pass ways, man. I like not having to pay for games, and I like being able to play 7s and 8s. And there's obviously like 8s and 9s on Game Pass, but not having to pay for games is sweet, and they give you that chance to I think, play games for what they are and not for what you paid for them or have any other expectation around them. Like, you're just like, here they are. You can just play this. You don't have this regret of, I paid here's like $90 for this game, so I should probably like it more than I do. I kind of regret buying this game. Like, you have that attachment to it, and it's so funny because we often hear these cries in the comments, like, people who review games get games for free, so you can't really put an honest view out there. And it's like, you can't put an honest view out for a game if you paid $80, $90, $70, whatever it is for this game either, because you have a dollar attachment to it as well that's skewing your opinion for it as well. There's studies on that. So I don't even know what the point was. I think people will enjoy Days Gone getting it for free, and I'm one of those people. I will enjoy playing this game.
I like how you're like, "F you guys, eat shit. Days Gone, it sucks," and then you're like, "I'm gonna enjoy this game."
I mean, I'll take it. I'm just saying in the battleground of like eat shit Xbox games with gold. But I mean, it looks fine as a free game. I'll take it. Absolutely. Why wouldn't I?
All right. I mean, yeah, why wouldn't you? Why would you, Sean?
I'm a complex dude.
I love you so much. Returnal. Let's talk about Returnal.
Ooh.
Okay, now, all right, I got you intrigued. Returnal has gone gold. This comes from Housemark on Twitter. Returnal has finally gone gold! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. A huge thanks to the team and everyone at Housemark, PlayStation Studios, and all other teams involved. We can't wait to have this out soon, and for every player out there to experience the planet of Atriops. I'll remember how to pronounce that name eventually.
Not important.
April 30th. Where's your meter on Returnal? Because you don't have a PlayStation 5. You're a fake fan.
Fake fan. Mm-hmm.
I'm pumped on Returnal.
Yeah.
Like, it's been warming me up. Every trailer I'm seeing, it's looking more action arcadey to me.
Yeah.
And I'm digging it. Like, I'm really liking what the scope of this game is.
Yeah. As a fan of this podcast and as a listener every single week, shame on you and Kyle for not being hyped on this game from the start.
Oh, fuck me! You're saying.
Shame on I said shame on you. Shame on you. It's more
right.
more emotional, more hurtful. It's deeper. It's like a disappointment.
It's true.
Housemark, Sony should put a ring on this, and if in Xbox land, this would be a purchased studio, and the games would come out day and date on Game Pass, and that would actually be the best fit for it. Yeah. I don't necessarily want to get into the dollar value of this type of game versus that type of game, but Housemark is one of, if not the best, I would say in there. It's in the group of best developers for PlayStation. Yep. There's not. I think Nex Machina is a game that is criminally underplayed, criminally underrated. It's excellent. Resogun, absolutely amazing. This studio has earned the pedigree for Sony fans to go, "Oh, Housemark, you say? Oh, really? Tell me more. Let me play day one." I'm not entirely sure where the hesitation came from on this game. It looks incredible. The game, like, gameplay first, give it to me, man. This game looks awesome. And every time they've shown, like, right from the start, I was like, I'm in. And I am with you. I will agree with you to say every time they have shown me something more, I've gotten a little bit more and more excited. But I was like, right from the start, dude, I think this game looks excellent.
Yeah, they had an exclusive sneak peek from PlayStation. PlayStation got the exclusive.
Oh, good for them. How they locked that down? Very impressive.
I don't know, impossible. But the one thing that intrigues me with this game is how the controller is going to play with it. Like, you haven't felt the adaptive triggers. You haven't seen God yet the way I have. See, again, Sean, you haven't done it. The cool thing about the L2 button, right, that they talk about in this preview is when you close it halfway, it zooms in. And then when you fully close down on the trigger, it has its alternative fire. And when you keep holding down on it and it needs to, like, recharge because there's no reloading in this game, you actually feel like the vibration charging up from the controller into the trigger.
So what is it like paying $60 for a sex toy in your hands? Like, what exactly?
Honestly,
seems overpriced.
People don't judge you when they see it. You know what I mean? So, like, they're like, "Oh, that's just a controller." They don't know what happens when the lights turn off. But, like, that actually sounds really
good.
Cool thing.
Yeah.
Is the alternative fires from the triggers and the adaptive triggers is not just like a gameplay gimmick. It's actually acting as like a secondary button. Yeah. Almost like when you're with the analog stick, right? You're moving it around, but when you press down on it, you either crouch or you, like, hit or whatever the case is. It's really cool.
Kind of like the GameCube controllers. You could kind of like squeeze them in a little bit, but obviously there's no feedback to it. Yeah, I didn't like that one very much, though. I didn't like that controller.
Go to hell, GameCube. So where do you think this game's going to lie at April 30th when it comes out?
I don't know anything else.
God of War situation?
I don't know what else is coming out. No. I mean, God of War is in its own. I feel like this game could maybe catch fire, but every time I hear people talk about it, it's apathetic.
Indifference?
People just don't seem to care, and I don't understand what happened. And I don't know that there's anything else coming out that's like drawing attention away from it. Like I can't quite put my finger on it. Though I will relate it to kind of like what Remedy was for Xbox for many years, where there were games that were coming out for their good quality games, and Xbox fans just didn't really rally or didn't move the needle. Alan Wake has a lot of nostalgia to it, but when it didn't sell incredibly well. And Quantum Break, similar type of thing, very good game, and people were like, we don't really want it. And I feel it's very similar with Housemarque over here, and y'all won't realize what you had until maybe they walk away and maybe something happens to them. But this game looks really good. I have no doubt that reviews will come out and gameplay is going to be great. But it just seems maligned for the something about it seems like it hasn't quite hit with maybe the people who it should. It's so strange to me. Every PlayStation podcast I listen to is all the same. It's like, I mean, whatever, like Returnal. Like, what the hell? They didn't do.
I think it really has to take off in a big way. I really do think this game has to impress, because I think it's the art style that turns people off. I think the somewhat Doom-ish aesthetic, like the 90s style that I feel like this game kind of has, doesn't work. Like the Prometheus looking thing doesn't really work with people or vibe with people that much. So I think that's really the biggest issue here. But like, I'm reaching out. I'm reaching out to you. But from everything I've seen, like, I believe in it. I have faith in it.
I just realized what it is. Here's the problem, Joe.
That?
It's not behind the back, over the shoulder, third person action with the narrative driven. It's not your bread and butter. Well, that's what they're trying. Now they're like, wait a minute. Sony fans, they like a certain thing, and this is presented as not that thing. This is very, very different from Ghost and Last of Us and God of War, the mature story. Like, it's not quite weird enough to be like a Kojima type of thing. Maybe this is maybe why you start to see such similar types of games. Like, there's an identity to exclusive games on PlayStation. It's not like Ratchet gets to live all on its own. And it has history as well, so people kind of understand that, but maybe PlayStation fans just don't like change, man. Just don't change anything.
Yeah, how dare you? Just make Horizon Zero Dawn forever.
Exactly. You say that.
I really think it's just the aesthetic of the game, and I don't think it's been presented. I think what this game needs the most right now is a state of play. Not this like preview in a blog post. Give us a state of play, really breaking this down, just wrapping. I don't
know. There's anything that you can do to undo what has been done. I think the opinions that people have been made. Maybe
they're stupid opinions, Sean.
I think they're dumb too. I don't think that they're quite right. Maybe they just needed some silly like Kojima hype that didn't make any sense. Like just say Housemarque is making Returnal, and then shut up and just like give like these stupid little hints as to like what this is, and build up some hype in this sort of like absence of information rather than trying to tell you why you should be caring about this game. I don't know. I'm not a marketing expert, but whatever they didn't land with the audience it needed to.
Well, Sean, I hope you put your marketing hat on, because we're about to investigate some breaking news into this podcast. That is, are you ready?
Yeah.
The VGC reports E3 2021 will be a digital event and could be behind a paywall. This comes from Nibel. Nibel says E3 stands for now Electronic Entertainment Experience. The ESA wants to partner with NVIDIA to deliver on-demand streaming for game demos. The paid access pass could include extra access to those mentioned demos. The paid access is not set in stone yet, but they could backtrack. And as of just a few hours ago, the ESA has come out going, whoa, nothing is being put behind a paywall, but we are going forward with a digital event. We'll give you real news when we're ready. Sean.
Hi.
All this stuff, digital event, game demos, from what we hear as well from the VGC, it seems like some game companies will be there, but it won't be what we know it as. Like, you're not going to see Ubisoft drop all their games on this event. Same with Microsoft or Bethesda or Sony or whoever. They'll be there. They'll offer some game demos. But again, you're not going to get the Keanu Reeves on stage moments.
It's too bad.
What are your thoughts on this, man? Do you think that the ESA can adapt to the digital climate, or do you think Jeff Keighley with the Summer Game Fest may have the key that really the key to the future of how we present games to consumers?
I I wonder about this a lot, and it breaks my heart to see E3 flounder so much. I don't know what the right answer is. I love, and I have always loved what E3 is and has been and what it has represented, more than just like you get a whole bunch of game news. I just love that we all come together for it. Like, it becomes an event that we can do our silly predictions, we can all do our things and take days off work and watch the conferences. Like, it becomes more than just game news, and we all sign up to be marketed to. It's like, it's actually kind of crazy when you think about it in that way.
Oh yeah, it's some like dystopian Orwellian shit.
Sell it to me. Yes, I will buy it all. Like, I don't like, it's kind of strange in that way. But I also don't know what the answer is. I don't think that Jeff Keighley is the key either, and it's not anything against him. It's just, it's the same reason that it can't be, like, why could it be Keighley and not the ESA? Right? Like, the thing is that, and it's been said before, any one of these companies can host their own thing now. They can do their own video stream, and they've all been proving it. So I don't know why they would go, okay, no to ESA, but yes to Jeff Keighley. I don't know exactly what he's going to be doing, unless there's some sort of like cross-pollination in the audiences, that like somebody wouldn't be paying attention to maybe a Square presentation, but now Jeff Keighley's involved, so maybe I'm paying a little bit more attention. It's that star
Jeff
value.
Keighley's is so cool.
I don't know.
He has the backwards cap and everything. Yeah,
and the sneakers with the suit. He pulls it off, and he's very tall and Canadian and handsome. And it, like,
oh, is he Canadian?
You better believe it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't know what the right answer is. But I'm sad to see E3 go away. I don't know how they turn this thing around, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of where we're at, I think.
I think hearing the news here, it sounds really grandiose, and I just don't see it really necessarily paying off. Again, ESA has come out and said, no. It's a free event. Maybe paying for access if you're possibly a media person is maybe what VGC is alluding to. But for what we know, ESA has cleared up. They said, free event, free of charge, everyone welcome. But I'm with you here. I don't know what Jeff Keighley necessarily does that the ESA can't. I have a vague assumption that Jeff Keighley's organization is small but flexible, where the ESA is this big engrossing entity with boards, with people in charge that have different ideas that don't necessarily understand what makes an event tick.
Yeah.
And so when you're taking a look at an event, let's just say Xbox and PlayStation, great, two examples, right? They both want to do digital events. They don't want to overlap each other and steal each other's limelight, right? Or the chance of the limelight be stolen for them. They go to Jeff. Hey, Jeff, when's a good spot for us? And Jeff picks a spot for him. He goes, here's clear to land over here. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much what I see to the Summer Game Fest being. Jeff Keighley said it's not going to be over months. It's going to be over a few weeks of like, here's a Ubisoft week, here's a Xbox week, here's a Bethesda week, here's a PlayStation week is kind of how my brain's working there. But it's really just allowing everybody to have a more concise, schedule. Because that is one problem with the E3 being gone, is like nobody knows where the fuck to go, and everybody gets hyped up because they think they're going to have an E3 level of press event, but Ubisoft just shows you, trailers of games that have already come out. You know what I mean? And so I think this allows all these publishers to kind of gather together, have a festival, surrounding games, celebrating their games, but most of all, marketing their games in a more concise manner, in a more organized manner, without the fear of the spotlight being taken from them. I think that's what Jeff has, and organizing digital events. I think with the Game Awards last year, it was a great display of what Jeff can do.
Yeah.
So
I'm a fan.
That's,
huge fan. I think as gamers, like if I'm just taking my like business hat off, I'm just thinking as gamers, we actually should want E3 to come back, because you got to think about over the last year, and of course COVID impacts things a little bit. The competition breeds better presentations. When you go, Sony, you're going to be right after Xbox, like you better be able to bring it, rather than you can do it whenever you want. I felt like what we got over this last year feels a lot like, I mean, whatever. It's a Tuesday, like, live stream. Like, it'll be fine, you know, and if it's not, then, like, whatever, we'll get them next time type of thing. Like, there's bigger stakes involved with E3 that, as gamers, we should want them battling each other to go, like, impress me the most, give me the most. And, of course, like, what I hear on podcasts all the time is people leaning more on the side of the company to go, like, they won't want to do that. They won't want to compete with other people. Like, of course not. But as gamers, we should want them to compete. We should want them to go one up the other guy, because it's A, more entertaining for us, but also B, like, we get better results. We get better games out of that. We get a better gaming experience out of that. So I'm kind of back on like the bring E3 back, but how do they spin that in a way that's appealing to the platform holders and the publishers?
And how do you like Snyder cut that, right? Like how do you demand it? And I think E3 has to exist, but it also has to adapt. And I think in the current climate, it makes it very hard to, because the one thing that E3 definitely serves is where devs get to talk to and mingle with not just each other, but publishers. And how do you make that work in this new digital landscape that has been, thrust upon everybody?
Yeah. I think you bring influencers into it. Like somehow, I don't know exactly what that answer is, but like how... it's typically a press event, which involves a whole bunch of people either sitting in the crowd or watching the video and then creating their own content from there. But like, how do you bring those worlds just that much closer together? Right.
I think Xbox tried that with the indie event like last week, and it just felt inauthentic. Like we had like these, like we had this one guy interview the director 12 minutes, and then at the very end go, "So is this a multiplayer game?" Like, whoa, fuck me. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Or like you had the presenters mispronounce the name of the game or say the title of the game wrong. Like it was this. I feel like influencers are great Monday morning quarterbacks is what we are.
Well, sure.
So showmen.
I mean, yes, I'm not disagreeing with any of that. And we talked about a little bit of that on the Xbox Drive as well. But that's also like saying, the game demos at a live presentation, they freeze and they crash and then it's embarrassing, or people trip over their words and it's embarrassing, so let's do something else. Like it's the first time that they really did anything quite like that, and I don't know that you should like throw out an idea just because the first time you tried it didn't really quite work. Like I think there might be something there, and it could be as simple as you pick the wrong people, but like how do you bring those worlds a little bit closer together? I would just like to see the idea of it just being some of the games that don't typically get a spotlight, like how do you give them a spotlight? And so how do you partner people with, and just picking the right game with the right influencer? I don't know. I'm not totally married to this idea, but I just, I do believe that it's better for gamers if they all compete for a voice and a share and to win E3. This is what we always talk about. I think getting away from that is actually worse for us as gamers.
I want to win Summer Game Fest. That's what I want to do.
How about Jeff Grubb's Summer Game Mess? That's really where we should be at. That's just it. Like,
what's the prize? Is it just like a bunch of scattered shit off Jeff's desk?
I hope if
what's the trophy?
You just win how to use Microsoft Paint as well as Jeff Grubb does, because he's an absolute artist.
Yeah, the Picasso of our era. The last bit of news here, Sean. Ghost of Tsushima movie in the works. This comes from PlayStation blog, Nate Fox himself. Sean, I'm excited, so I'm going to read this whole thing. I was debating if I should, but nay, I'm going to.
All right.
Ghost of Tsushima is now in the works. The idea of translating our game, this comes directly out of Nate's mouth, I assume. Translating our game into a new medium is exciting, and we are intrigued by the possibilities. To think we could be sitting in a theater someday, man, you and me both, watching Jin Sakai up on the big screen is amazing. We'd all relive his tense transformation into the ghost from a whole new vantage point. We are happy to partner with Sony Pictures to make this happen. Jin is in very good hands with the film director Chad Wojcicki. I
Nailed it.
can't do Polish names, and I'm so sorry. I'm offending everyone. Created something special with John Wick. His vision for what that could be, backed up by years of experience, combined with the create of some of the finest action scenes ever created. If someone could bring to life this razor-sharp tension of Jin's combat, it's Chad. Also, I'm happy to say that we've sold more than 6.5 million copies of Ghost of Tsushima now, and that is roughly half of those people have made it through the entire game.
Wow.
Can you believe that? That's over 3.25 million times digital Mongols have been kicked out of digital Tsushima. Now, I know I speak for everyone at Sucker Punch by sending a massive thank you to Ghost fans. Your support for the game is what makes opportunities like a movie come true. It's been a true, sincere pleasure checking out the photo mode images posted online and fighting alongside you in Legends. We're so happy to be on this ride for you. Oh my goodness, Sean. I told this to Kyle when I got the news and I got really pumped. Every time I think of Ghost of Tsushima, I get just more enamored by how much I love that game. Like, I truly think it was goddamn robbed of Game of the Year last year. Although, congratulations, Last of Us Part 2, for making me cry so much. But this is awesome news. What's your take? Are we gonna finally see a good video game movie? Is this what it's gonna take, the John Wick director, to do it?
What do you mean finally? We got Mortal Kombat back in 1995 or 6 or whatever it was. And ever since, video games have been trying to recapture the magic that was Shang Tsung and friends from Mortal Kombat in the 90s. Best soundtrack. Shang Tsung and friends. I don't know if this is going to be it. I feel I have a couple feelings on this. Great director choice. Yes, let's get some quality filmmakers making these games. I think with PlayStation titles in particular, because they are so narrative heavy and so cinematic in nature, and they have been ever since Metal Gear Solid, that
I don't play movies, I play games.
Well, I'm not even gonna make that point. It's just that the games come across with such high quality and polish when they're a game, that when they have to be treated with that same AAA treatment when they're a movie, and they just haven't. And I feel like that's been the disconnect. Is you have like some of the best franchises in games, and they're like, these games, when sitting next to another game, it's like, that's a better game. This is like, Ghost is like a standout game of the year. And you put it next to another movie, and it's like, it hasn't got the same resources, it hasn't got the same treatment on the script, or the cinematography isn't quite there. It's like, that's the disconnect. So as long as they are able to give it everything they've got from a movie standpoint, and the same level of oomph that they gave it in the gaming, then maybe it's got a chance. What I really think Sony is banking on here is one of these is going to land as like the Iron Man of gaming movies. And one of them is going to go, oh snap, they can make a comic book movie, or oh snap, they can make a gaming movie. And then it unlocks like this whole, they got to be first to the punch.
Are you talking PlayStation cinematic universe?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not necessarily like a connected universe, but yeah, like when whatever, the Sony Interactive Entertainment or whatever shows up at the start of a game, it's like, oh, this is going to be good. Right. The same type of deal when a Sony movie comes out. I feel like that's what they're going for, and they're just kind of throwing everything at it and going, one of these hopefully will land, and then they figure it out. It's kind of like, I mean, Iron Man is a good example, or even the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire.
I think you're 110% right. I think if anyone could do it, it's PlayStation. Look, I think Sonic got very close for what it was. Even Detective Pikachu, though, that movie, oh boy, at the end. So I think they're starting, oh boy, like that. Like, it's not a good oh boy. I think they're starting to get it. What makes, or how to translate game to movie. But when you said, like, MCU, I couldn't help but think in my mind, you got the Master Hand sitting there, like Thanos, and you got like Ellie with Cap, finger to the ear, a portal open up, is like, hey, kiddo. And I'm like, oh, shit. Everybody's coming out of the portal. You got Mario coming out of the, pipe or whatever the fuck that guy does.
Jesus. I don't know. He's dead. He's not coming out of nothing.
Yeah. Rest in peace. The ghost of Mario. But yeah, Famous Seamus writes in this question. With Ghost of Tsushima movie coming, what are your hopes for the movie? I'm excited for some action scenes since it's made by the director that made John Wick. I'm expecting some awesome sword fights. However, I'm wondering how they'll adapt a massive game like Ghost into a 2 to 3 hour movie. First off, I'm not expecting a Godfather here. 3 hours is...
All movies are 3 hours now. Movies are generally too long, I would say.
How long is a perfect movie to you? Please don't say 90
How long
minutes.
was Armageddon? Whatever Armageddon was. Perfect.
Let's see. I'll look that up. Let me see. How long?
Stop. It's probably like, let's see. 118 minutes is my guess.
118 minutes. 2 hours and 33 minutes.
Was it really? It was 2.5 hours long? Mm-hmm. That wasn't even close. Damn.
Yeah.
Felt like it looked like it was so good. It was just like it flew by.
Honestly, I think that's the perfect hour range. Is 2 hours and 33 minutes. I think you can tell that's a good afternoon. You're spending it with your loved ones, but I get it. You have kids, and that's ruined everything.
I fall asleep at like an hour in on most things. I didn't like. This is the thing. I just wanted like a beautiful like cinematic experience. Like, and as somebody who I haven't actually played Ghost, so I can actually go into this and go, I know what fake fan. I can go into this and I don't have like the attachment. It's just like if it's a beautiful movie, then like it's all good. I haven't read the book yet. I just watched the Harry Potter movies. I didn't read the books. Hopefully, it can be good.
Doing both is a slog. That said, what I would want as a fan, as a massive fan, we have to understand what makes the movie ticket the island has to play as a character, right? Itself. You have to treat that island with the level of respect that Sucker Punch did. Traversing has to feel beautiful. The one moment that I constantly think of is when Jin's, with the horse going through the blossoms in the blossom field in the very beginning. That moment is just so beautiful with the music over it. We're not gonna I probably get like a little like pat a fox here or there type of Easter egg, but we're not chasing birds in this movie, right? We're not getting an hour in and Jin's like, oh shit, a little bird? Okay.
I can't wait for that to be the opening scene. Like credits roll and little birdie flies around.
I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna see what's up.
I hope this is like Japanese Gladiator.
Yes. Oh fuck me!
Like core relationships, right? Like that's. I mean, it could work out. You got these one-on-one battles similar to Gladiator. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. That's
the winner.
Just sold me.
Yeah.
You just sold.
It could work.
It. Someone hire Sean, be a Hollywood producer, a Gladiator style Ghost of Tsushima movie.
Put Russell Crowe in it. Russell Crowe could be the starring. You want to fight?
You want to fight? There's multiple problems with Russell Crowe being the main character.
Oh, yes.
But like, now that he's very out of shape, I don't know if you've seen him. He's very out of shape. So I'm just picturing him in like in a samurai garb and just his stomach.
Gut hanging out.
Actually, the lead actor has stated that he wants to reprise his role as Jin.
Super cool.
And he's willing to show ass for it.
Ooh.
I don't know if you know this, but when you enter the warm springs in Tsushima, he's nude and you see a little bit of his booty. He's got a coolie on it. He's got a coolie.
They should have put that on the back of the box. Maybe I would have played it a little sooner than this. Give me that Witcher opening, taking a bath.
Yeah, listen, it shows the Witcher whose butt is real fine. You know what I mean? It's Jen's.
I would love for that to, like, for somebody to break that barrier that seems to be there for either voice actors or motion capture actors, like people who are involved in the game to show up in the movies. And there's a lot of talk, I think, when Borderlands was, when they're doing all their casting, especially for like Claptrap, could have been the same guy, although I guess that actor has his own issues or there's problems with that. Yeah. But I would just love to see some of this kind of crossover. Some of these voice actors are excellent and they should be in movies.
Yeah. And I honestly, when I think of Jin, it is, I think his name is Daisuke. I probably mispronounce it because I'm dumb, but yeah, like I would love to see him. He is the role. He is Jin.
Yeah.
Jin is stoic in nature. The only thing that I have, like, how the story's going to roll out. Because as much as I love Gladiator, but it's, feudal Japan, the story is very much about the side characters. And so how are you introducing them and their side stories that really help define them as characters? That's something I'm really interested in, because it's very much the whole thing of Ghost is pretty much you are assembling the squad very much like Mass Effect 2 with the suicide mission. Yeah. So like what that is going to entail, that's the thing that has me intrigued to see what this director does and how he takes it. I'm all up for it. With that, we've been an hour plus of the trophy room. Usually it's here where we talk about what we've been playing. Is there anything in particular, Sean, that you've been playing that's caught your eye?
I've been playing Outriders. Actually, Outriders came out today. Yes, yes. This is the one. Outriders, I think, is the real deal. A horribly depressing setup for this whole thing. Earth has been destroyed. Let's go to another salvation planet, and everything will be beautiful. And well, that's awful too. And this eternal war is broken out. This game, dude, I had no sense of this being on my radar at all. And it's kind of all I want to play now. I've been bouncing around from games for the last couple of weeks since like now it's landed, and this is where I'm at, man. Come play. It's on. And it's crossplay. We could play together. Ooh, you can pay $70 for it. I could play it for free. It's fine.
I was about to say I was gonna try it out on Game Pass, see if I like it, and if I do, I'm gonna buy it on PlayStation.
Oh my god! Just play on Xbox. Like there you are. What the heck?
I like the controller. I like our controller. I like the trophies, and that's
hey man, I can't fight with that because I would say the same thing about Xbox. I will say I played a bunch of the demo before, and I fired up the game, the full release game, earlier today, and popped a bunch of achievos. Man, it's pretty good from the stuff that I had done in the demo. Demo stuff, your progress carries over. That's and I saw a Benji Sales, friend of the show. Benji Sales was saying like this is like the biggest launch in Square's history or something. It like tripled the number of consecutive players or
that's awesome.
What's the thing? The number of players playing at the same time? Concurrent players on Steam. Players, It tripled Marvel's Avengers. It was like 350,000 to like over 100,000 players on Outriders.
That's a sad state for Avengers.
Sad for Avengers, big time. Yeah. So Outriders, dude. Crossplay. We can all play together. We can all have fun.
Let's do it. I've been playing a lot of games because I don't have kids or responsibilities. I want to just take you down memory lane. Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. Nice. Dude, for the first time, I've never gotten into the modern day Croft games. This is so much. She is such an awesome character. Like, way better, and it's not like...
You never played this at all?
Like, whatever. No, never. Oh, and honestly, I think I'm in love with Lara. Like, I got the appeal, because I never did as a kid, because I'm like, pixels, whatever, it's like, unproportional.
Just use your imagination.
This Lara kicks ass, man. She really does. I've been playing Ratchet and Clank.
Excellent. Wow.
Well, you know this. It got a 4K upres and an FPS boost.
Damn.
It's got an FPS boost. 4K, 60 FPS. Just trying it out a little bit. And last but not leastly, because I want to talk about Resident Evil 4, but that's the road to greatness. I've been playing Abzu from Giant Squid. I like the way they tell their stories via the environment, man.
Sure.
Like, not a word is spoken.
Yeah.
But just through just the environment alone. It tells a beautiful crafted story you could get through in about 2 hours. It's like your little submarine person swimming through the ocean. It's free for the play at home promotion that PlayStation's doing. Same with Ratchet until now. You know what? I lied. It's off. That said, really beautiful. It's awesome, but it does not have a trophy. So
a platinum trophy. Yeah.
A big bummer, dude. It's a really big bummer.
Did not like that. Did not like that game. But good games are the play at home little
you didn't
collection.
Like Abzu?
Didn't like Abzu very much. I don't know.
But it's in. I thought of you immediately because when you're swimming, it's inverted, and I know how you're a dummy and you play. Inverted.
Yeah, I just like all games that are inverted. That's how that works. Yeah.
I think isn't that how it's supposed to?
I don't think so. Ratchet is great, and I can't wait for you to get to Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yes.
Rise of the Tomb Raider is one of those games that like it's still on my Xbox. I'm going to play it again when I'm just like wandering around. But I don't know why I'm playing new games and I don't know if I'm going to play them. That game is so quality, man. And now
Rise is the second one.
Rise is the second one, and now you can play it outside of like is this an Uncharted game? Is this not as good? Like you're outside of all those comparisons. Yeah. It's just better for the Tomb Raider games.
And honestly, it's so unfair to like Tomb Raider because it is very much like I understand the comparisons. I do, but it's very much its own thing. Like,
Yeah.
I actually feel like the combat's more reminiscent of, like, Last of Us meets Uncharted. The way the enemies come at you, and they really are super aggressive, at least in the first game. It's like, this is actually kind of brutal what I'm doing here. I'm really hurting people here.
Hopefully.
But, whoa.
Like digital people. Digital people.
Yeah, digital. They're evil, too. They're like cultists or whatever.
Don't come at me like that.
Yeah, don't come at me with that, man. I'll pop you once in the face. Pow, 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 pow. I'm
Yeah, it's so cool when nerds pretend to be tough. 2 guns, and then she like does her little smile.
When nerds pretend to be tough.
Come at me,
you get
man.
my face. If you get in my face, I will immediately back off.
Exactly.
Don't you dare do that, because I will evade immediately.
Slowly and out of shape.
Yeah. All right. It hurts when I get up now. My knees.
My knees.
What they used to be. Sean, thank
Joe.
you so much for saving me in my hour of need.
Oh, is it over?
So much. It is. It's over. It's a show.
Okay, that's fine. You're welcome. Thank you for having me, dude. This is so fun. I love the show. I love your community. You've done a wonderful job, and I love your background. I love your face. I love your microphone. I love Kyle. I wish he was here. He's nicer to me than you are, actually.
He is. He's
very lovely.
I was going to say this off cam and off mic, but maybe depending on, we'll figure it out. We lost our good friend Bobby. And we've been going through the motions, you and I, you more so than anyone. And, the one thing that I feared is Bobby being that glue, and that we separate because of Bobby's absence. And we need to make sure that this doesn't happen, Sean.
I think the ultimate FU that we can give to Bobby is show him that he was not the thing that kept us together.
Exactly. I think we show that son of a gun.
We show that son of a bee. Yeah, dude. No. And you know what? Jonathan Brown, Purple Monkey, he's saying the exact same thing. We got to stick together. We were all there with Bobby. Obviously, right now I'm dealing with a little bit of strange humor. But yeah, man, that was never going to be the case. We've been friends for a long, long time since the poly game days of Joe.
Shut up.
That was a thing.
I edited that out immediately. Yeah.
Yeah. No, dude, it's awesome to still podcast with you and still call you a very close friend, man. I really appreciate it.
Likewise. And we need to do something like an actual show one day. You know? That's what I'm thinking. Like, we get the band back together.
Let's get the band back. Yeah,
maybe
I like it.
Ask, what's Toby doing? What's he really doing?
I mean, we should reach out to him. We should reach out.
Stop being a dad. Come over here.
Just stop being a dad. I don't think there's a very natural way to do that.
Well, Avengers it. He's like in the living room with his baby, rocking it to sleep, and I just walk in with a suit. I'm like putting together a team.
And he's like, I can't. I've already quit. And you're like, I just need you just for this one last mission, man.
Oh fuck! And he just puts the baby down wherever, and he's like, "All right, I'm
in
going.
a bush somewhere."
Somewhere.
Stay
Sean,
here. Joe.
I love you so very
too,
much,
man.
my man. Where can people find you? Where can people find your work and all the good things you do?
You can find me in Canada until we open the borders again. Then maybe I'll come to you. On the internet, you can find me on Twitter at Sean Capri. Sean the Connery, Capri like the pants. You can find me streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/Sean Capri, Thursday nights, Friday nights, Saturday nights. If people are listening to this on Friday, check me out on Friday night. We're going to be playing a little Titanfall 2, my friend. Play a little Titanfall 2. And then, of course, Halo Saturdays, which I know this audience will appreciate very, very much.
That's right. I'll kick your ass in there every weekend.
I'll take it. Hey, man, we're doing actually pretty good. Like, you and I are kind of back and forth there. Like,
right?
Ones
nice.
and twos.
It feels nice. You can find, of course, go follow the Xbox Drive and all the things, YouTube, etc. Go.
Thank you.
Out there. You can find the Trophy Room on YouTube as well. The video version, you can find the podcast, the Trophy Room, on any podcast services available. Please rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. It really does help us out. Really does boost this show and get us up there on the charts. And yeah, please, if you could, consider throwing a buck our way over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. With all that said, with all that out of the way, everybody, keep your wits about you, keep hunting, and keep playing PlayStation. See you guys.
Bye.